Hey team, this is Mike with Rocket Garage and Service. This is going to be a new series. I just finished up the tour review of the cutoff wheel. Please check out that video if you haven't. I'm going to start going through tools I have and giving my honest feedback, and hopefully that'll help somebody. So on this series, I'm going to start going all over some of these parts I'm buying for this project. A lot of these parts I could not find reviews on. I personally didn't look for this specific product, but I wanted to start with it. So today we're going to go over this 95mm throttle body by Holley EFI. This product was quite expensive. It was almost $550, I believe. And we're just going to go over some features. This will be installed onto a 2002 Pontiac Trans Am. The engine will be a LS2 with a LS2 bottom end with LS3 top end. Which is pretty much like an L76 out of a G8. But the blocks, the height, nothing should change. It should be just like your standard LS1. I'm just going to go through some things you see here, and then we'll start disassembling some stuff and get out the micrometer, measure some of the things I ran into, and then I'll slowly do a review on each product, like the fuel rails, the injectors, and anything else that I might have had to do different for my Trans Am. So I put the air intake on. This is where I'm putting my nitrous nozzle, and I'll go into why I'm having this set up versus a plate. My connecting boot, took some research. We'll take this back off, and in the first clip you've seen the piping that looks out of place, and we'll go through why I did that and the steps. This is just your standard SPL bellow, and then we have our throttle body. This is an LS1 throttle position sensor. No, sorry, that is your intake air. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a brain fart now. I'm recording it. Your IAC, so intake air control. And this is your standard Fbody LS1 throttle position sensor. Over here, just your butterfly, where you're going to put your cable for your throttle cable. One of the biggest things it said, and it's hard not to do this, is they don't want you to whack it. So just definitely when you get this, don't do anything like that. You can mess up this aluminum, or this steel butterfly with aluminum housing. I did buy this adapter. This is in Holley brand. You can see we have an adjustable linkage on how we're going to set up our throttle linkage. I have not hooked any of this up. It literally just sandwiches in between our throttle body. We have our adapter plate and our intake. I did not mention before that this is an LS3 intake. I did say there was LS3 top end, but this is an LS3 intake. That is why I can run a 95mm. Is there anything else we should go over before we start disassembling? These all bolted in well. It came with the hardware. It came with these Allen heads for this intake air control valve. And this is your idle control, pretty much. Your high idle and all that other jazz that gets into, starting and everything. And I can show you the bypass that it has. And then, like I said, this is your throttle position sensor. So it does have two positions. You got your the adjustability. You got your screws here to actually bolt your TPS into the plate, and then these are to make it adjustable. And you can see they give us reference marks. So when we get to chasing our reference voltage and setting our baseline for voltage and everything, we can know which way we changed it. Some of the things are kind of a pain in the butt that I won't show you while I'm doing this because it's frustrating. These aren't easy to get to. It has 4 Allen heads. Let's see if you can see it. This one being the most pain. And you got one here, and then there's one on the other side. And they're just not easy to come out. It's probably for me not having the right tools. If I probably had like a 3 or 4 inch Allen head to reach in and zip it out, it wouldn't be that bad. I do not. All I have is your standard Allen heads. I have one that's on like a key, but they fold out, and then I have just standard L-shaped ones. And it's hard to take it out without scratching this nice finish. And then this thing looks beautiful. It's a work of art. You can actually see the machining in this. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. So anyways, I ain't gonna go into this nitrous right now. Oh, we will explain why I don't have a plate though. You cannot get a 95 millimeter nitrous plate. You can get one for, I believe it's the 103 now that they have, like the oversized 102. And you can get one for LS1. You can get one for a 92 millimeter. You cannot get one for a 95. I contacted a few companies, Dynotune. See their names on here. No, it's not on here. But Dynotune is where I bought this nitrous nozzle from. They didn't make one. They made a 102. I think they had a 103 also. Emailed them, no go. Couldn't find one on Jegs. Couldn't find one on Summit. Couldn't go on Holley's website. Nothing for a 95. I'm not running much nitrous. The max I'm probably going to run is 150 shot. Everything I've researched is that is fine through a nozzle. But we'll go into that later, why I put it here, what I got going on with RTV, the way of holding it and all that stuff. So I'm going to take off the air cleaner and we'll work ourselves down the line. All right, let me see if I can work this without making a bad glare on the camera and also with only 2 hands. Oh goodness, let's see. Let's open this up. So you can see, I mean, that opening is the exact dimensions. There is no room other than porting to get any more. So super happy with that if you're looking for max tolerance out of this throttle body. I went with the 95 millimeter and sticking with a stock intake due to the fact of doing some research. This engine really doesn't have the cubic inches that a 102 or 103 would need. This is just going to be your standard 6.0 bore with just a piston rod combo. So I stuck with this intake and a 95 millimeter for that. I believe I would have room to grow to go with that. But for now, this would probably be my combo probably for the next 5 years. And I was happy with this setup for now. That was my logic behind it. I hope it ain't a mistake where I waste money and I should have just spent the money now. But those intakes aren't cheap, and then this throttle body wasn't cheap. So this was my compromise. So I'm going to take the intake or throttle body off and we'll just work ourselves down the line. All right, we got throttle body off. I'll let you know those bolts are a 5 millimeter. And like I said previously, I didn't have a screwdriver to take it off. I loosened it with that. And this T30 works pretty good on getting the bolts off. Of course, I won't torque it down with a T30 because it torques a bit, but it worked good enough to grab the edges. So now we've seen the inside of it, throttle body. Here's the gasket. So they give you paper gaskets with it. Here's the backside. Pretty straightforward. There's no tapering. You can see the other side of your intake air control, where it pretty much that valve here meters air to control your idle. I have forgotten what this screw does. I would have to research that. In fact, I wonder if it sits behind. So we have our gasket. And then this is the plate that I was talking about. This is to hook up your cables without unless you make something. I went ahead and I found every time I fabricate something, usually I regret it later or wind up just buying the product later. So I just purchased this from Holley. It fits on here. If I can't get everything to line up. Yeah, so it just covers up that screw in the way. So dive into that later on what that screw actually meters or what its purpose is for. Let me see if with one hand if I can get this opened. Let's see. That wasn't bad. A little dirt you can see, but how it ramps and whatnot. If there's anything else. So I will be probably changing this. So it does give you 2 gaskets. I don't know if the 2 gaskets came with throttle body or with this plate, but I left my O-ring. No, I did not. I did take my O-ring off. So okay, I think that's right. I thought I left the O-ring on, but your normal LS1, or sorry, LS3 intake has an O-ring here. I took the O-ring off, so I thought I left it on. Other than that, no, nothing special. I'll call this part 1 of the video. I would like to do a drivability video once we get everything ironed out. This would be tuned by Travis Accord Pride, local tuner machinist in my area, and we'll just go through if we run into any issues. He's the one that suggested going with this throttle body. He said do not get the cheaper one for drivability issues. Wide open throttle, sure, but he knows how I drive my cars. He put a cam and then he did the machining on some 799 heads on my last LS1 build. Just like I said, head and cam swap, and I put probably 30,000 miles on that setup. He got me right with the trunnions and everything. So I went with his advice on the good Holley FI too. Alrighty folks, please comment, like, subscribe. Leave me some feedback. I am sorry for the mess in here. Under this sheet here is actually transmission parts. I have took up my whole garage rebuilding a Turbo 400. So, and then plus I'm working out getting a barn to put all my toys like lawnmower, dirt bikes, goat carts, and we just added another dirt bike to the fleet. So I'm just trying to keep them out of the weather. So it's starting to get crowded again. But anyways, neither here nor there. Please leave me some feedback. Tell me how to make this video better. A better intro, a better outro. Just a better way to review, maybe not as long-winded, but I just wanted to give a lot of details, and then you can skip around however you see fit. And just this product here, I mean, it's almost a shame it's going on that Trans Am. Is nice. Oh, I didn't even notice this screw also. So if anybody knows what these screws are for, please leave a comment below. Of course, I'm going to go with something dealing with our idle air control or our breather system. And I also got a catch can setup. We'll be doing a review on it also. All right, that's it. To the next one.